Willie Walsh is the CEO of IAG, and he joins us live now from our Westminster studio. Good morning to you. You must be very pleased this morning. What does this deal actually mean for British Airways?
Well, I'm very pleased. It gives International Airlines Group and British Airways a unique opportunity to expand at Heathrow, and I believe that the challenge, while significant, because BMI's losses have been huge over the last few years, can be overcome, and we can turn this business into a profitable entity.
Well, what are you going to do with BMI itself? Are you going to keep their planes? Are you going to keep some of their routes? Or actually, is this all about slots at Heathrow?
No, what we're acquiring is the total business, which includes their aircraft, their premises, the routes that they operate. Now, we will restructure it because it does require significant restructuring, and regrettably that means there will be some job losses. But I believe that this maximises the number of jobs that we can retain within the UK, because if the option of closing BMI, which I think was a credible option, was pursued, then the slots would have been sold off across the world and the jobs associated with those slots would have gone.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was going to say, what is that restructuring? What's it going to look like? Does this mean that basically most of its routes, which are mostly short haul, will go?
No, a lot of the routes will be retained, and that's something that we're looking at very closely now. But we will, over time, utilise some of the slots for long-haul development, and particularly for establishing new routes from Heathrow to emerging markets where Heathrow doesn't have connectivity today. But we also believe by using the brands within the International Airlines Group, British Airways and Iberia, we can give a much greater sales presence and enhance the revenue opportunity of BMI.
One man that's not terribly happy today, I would imagine, is Virgin's Richard Branson. I'm sure that he's going to go all out to stop this deal going ahead via the Competition Commission and the competition authorities. Are you worried about that at all?
No, we'll deal with the competition regulators. We'll address any concerns or issues they have. But competition policy is not established by Virgin or by Richard Branson. We've dealt with the regulators on other issues and have been successful, and we remain confident that this deal will stand, and we're going to work now to try and complete the deal with the regulators as soon as possible. We're aiming for completion sometime towards the end of the first quarter of next year.
He says you already have a stranglehold on Heathrow. This is bad for consumers, bad for industry and bad for Britain. What do you say to that?
No, I would disagree with them on all of those. I think this is great for Britain because this will, I think, reinforce Heathrow's position as a global international hub airport. It will allow us to expand our network to emerging markets where we don't have connectivity today. I think it will retain the short-haul connectivity to the regions, which Virgin has shown absolutely no interest in operating over the history. They're a long-haul operator only, have not operated any short-haul flights from Heathrow, have had plenty of opportunity in the past to do so. So I think this is great for Britain. I think it's great for the consumer. I think it's great for jobs. And for the long term, I think it's a really positive development.
And in the longer term, will the BMI brand go?
It'll certainly be retained in the short term. It's got a strong brand recognition in the UK. It's not a global brand, and therefore will not be used as we look to expand the long-haul network. But we do have an opportunity to retain it as a standalone entity within the International Airlines Group, and that's one of the things we'll look at in the months ahead. Our focus now is to complete this deal and to work with the regulators to address that as soon as possible.
Have you got your eyes on any other airline? I'm thinking of TAP in Portugal, maybe Aer Lingus, something like that?
Well, we've made no secret of our interest in looking at TAP if the Portuguese government moves forward with its plans to privatise the airline. That doesn't mean we'll necessarily make a bid for it, but we will certainly have a close look at it. And that's as far as it goes at the moment. We're not looking to any other issue. And clearly, this acquisition of BMI will require a lot of work on our part to restructure the business, and that will be our immediate focus.
This is a good time to be expanding. So many people are talking about recession across Europe, if not the wider world.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, but at times like this, opportunities present themselves. We've always said we'd wait for the right airline and the right time. I think this is definitely the right airline. Sometimes you don't get a choice about timing, but at times like this, you sometimes have to be brave, and this is definitely the right decision for International Airlines Group for the long term. In the short term, we have challenges to restructure BMI, but I'm confident we can do that. We've got a great track record. We've got management skills and expertise that can do that. And I believe we can make a great success of this.
When you talk about times like these, what are your prospects for 2012? I mean, things are not looking great, notably for the airline industry as a whole.
Well, airlines tend to do well when economic conditions are good. We don't do so well when there's concern about the economy. The figures I'm looking at don't show any fall-off in demand, but there is quite a lot of uncertainty, and I think largely driven by political instability. Politicians need to show leadership and get control of the problems in the Eurozone, and I'm surprised and clearly disappointed that we haven't seen strong leadership from European politicians in recent months.
This carbon tax from the European Union is not going to help airlines, is it?
Well, I'm a strong proponent of the inclusion of airlines in the emissions trading scheme. I think the way the EU has gone about this has clearly left the airline industry at risk from retaliatory action, and that risk has certainly been enhanced and increased in recent weeks by statements being made from a number of major economies. So I'm concerned that what is a good idea in principle is going to be destroyed as a result of the manner in which the EU is seeking to implement this deal.
Willie Walsh, CEO of IAG, many, many thanks.
Thank you.